Hello, everybody. Welcome back to AK Global. My name is Ansel. My co-host is Kent. Today, what we have for you is some outtakes, okay? From our last couple episodes, we rant about our different things, mainly about gold bugs here. So this is going to be our gold bug rant, and hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe and share this around with people that you think would like macroeconomic stuff, the kind of talk that we do, breaking down subjects more in depth. Our show notes are very in depth, so make sure you check those out. akglobal.libsyn.com. All right, see you on the flip side.
It is all part of the same thing. It's all part of the fiat money printing, and it's got to collapse, man. And that's what's so scary, is that you can sit here all day and pick this industry, and everything is in a bubble. Everything, except maybe like gold and Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit frustrating. In one sense, I hope they can kick the can down the road a little longer so I can, transition into another role with another company that's bigger. So I'll need that illusion to last a bit longer. But at the same time, it is frustrating because you're just looking at what's the word? You're looking at the opposite of like human achievement everywhere. Everywhere is just run down. People are run down. People are stupid. So it's just like, it's aesthetics, dude. Aesthetics are you've got your trigger buttons, aesthetics are mine. I flip the fuck out when it comes to that shit. Or logic, or gold bugs. That's another one. You get on my fucking nerves. So, I'm like, how do you scale gold? You guys want to roll back to like 1871? Well, everything was physical back then. And to scale gold, you had to have banknotes. I said, how do you intend to do it in today's world where transaction speeds are, in fractions of a second? I've never seen them come up. Like, how are you going to use a gold standard? What are you going to do? Like, put a bunch of banknotes on a barge and send it across? That'll take fucking 2 days to get to its destination. How do you scale gold in a digital world? I mean, maybe you can, but I don't see them. They don't even have a solution. How do you remonetize gold in this world? You could do it, but you'd have to tie it to something. You'd have to have digital banknotes, and then you run into the same problem you had before, which is pyramiding. So,
well, yeah, it's the same thing. If you go back, to 2,500 or 3,000 years to the dawn of gold and silver, and they're all using beads or whatever, and beads just didn't scale. They became obsolete. And it didn't matter if you had a fucking grip load of beads, you could not make people not use gold and silver. And that's the same thing right now. There's going to be all of these central banks, all these gold bugs that have all this gold, and they are not going to be able to force people to use it. People are going to be using Bitcoin. So there's just these epochs, and we're just in the new epoch of Bitcoin now.
Yeah, it's like I told them, one of the things that irritated me is like, he had these questions, and I answered his questions, and then he kept saying, dude, you're not even answering my question. I'm just like, oh my gosh, do you fucking read, or do you just like cherry pick things that you don't like and emotionally respond to it like a girl? And then, drove me up the wall. So I was like fucking flustered, and that, pretty much ended it. But I mean, they're always bring up the same dumb arguments, like, store of value. I'm like, dude, it's 11 years old. Technology adoption takes time. It will stabilize. I said, do you think gold had some stable fucking price when they first started mining it? Because if you do, you're fucking retarded. And sometimes I'm just a dick.
Well, gold bugs.
They push me to it. Ansel.
Gold bugs just have a mental block. And some other people do too. I mean, who said that famous fucking saying where you can't make a person believe something if their salary depends on them not believing it?
I don't know who said that, but that's certainly true. And conflict of interest in the case of
and Peter Schiff and all them. But
Peter Schiff is insufferable. It's just like, it's like talking to someone that it's information asymmetry to like the ninth power. Like, there's just no point in even having the conversation. We're speaking different languages. So,
well, yeah, I still like gold. I still own gold, but I know it's a matter of time. And I wouldn't. I think it has like one more cycle or something, maybe 20 more years, but it will be slowly phased out.
Yeah, I don't see. I mean, it'll always have some solid value because jewelry and it's rare, it's scarce. But monetizing it, I'm like, if we want to really remonetize gold, like I got to hear some, people every now and then bring up that, oh, gold-backed cryptocurrency, and I'm like, you're running into this exact same problem you had before, which is wherever you store the gold, they have every incentive in the world to pyramid on it. And the only difference is instead of banknotes, they're doing it digitally, which is much easier. I mean, look at the gold and silver fixing they do at the where's the settlement? Is it in London?
Yeah.
And it's just like look at these ETFs that have an obscene amount of shares outstanding to the actual stockpiles they have because they've cleverly written in contracts that unless you have certain gigantic sums of the shares, you can't get physical delivery, and people are none the wiser. So I don't know. I have a hard time seeing how it gets remonetized. So
Well,
I don't know. I digress.
Well, I don't think like everyone uses that argument about jewelry and that it will have solid value, etc. I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, how many bead necklaces do we own and value highly? Not very many. But that was the standard, right? That was the money. And so I think that gold sucks as jewelry. It's soft, it's breakable, it's high value, and you can lose it if you take your ring off to wash your hand and it goes down the fucking drain or something. Like it sucks as jewelry. What would be better is steel, stainless steel, or my wedding band now is tungsten or whatever. I think it's tungsten, and so that's better jewelry. The only reason why people use it as jewelry is because of the monetary value, and so all of these uses of the only like industrial use, right, is for electronics, isn't it? So that's about the bottom of the barrel. It's going to be
dentistry, I think. But yeah, it's pretty limited.
Yeah, you're right. But that's going to be very cheap. I mean, I can see it going back to $20 an ounce, dude.
I'm just like, let's say Saudi Arabia sends me oil and I want to settle in gold, large contract. This is what I was like asking him. I'm like, dude, how do you saying it and doing all these things? He's like, I've got my little machine here to assay shit. I'm like, yeah, dude. How much would it cost to assay a fucking $1 billion worth of gold? The time, man hours, and the little technology you have. That would take fucking ages. That'd be very cost intensive. And then furthermore, you've got storage costs. Furthermore, you've got shipping costs, which are, I work for FedEx, my goodness, like I couldn't imagine what it would cost to ship gold from here to Saudi.
Yeah, with security.
Like it would be astronomical. So
yeah, and well, another
fuck, dude, sending a letter down to Brazil was like fucking $70.
Damn.
Like a bar of gold. Dude, I couldn't imagine.
Well, and another thing, there's been recent news where in Asia, they don't know exactly where it's coming from, but they assume China. And there's a bunch of counterfeit bars, and they're about.
I've heard about.
Yeah, they're about one third gold, and then 2/3 tungsten, and it is, I want to say 40 to 50 tons that they have found already. I mean, so it's significant. It's not like there's just a little bit out there, but that's just what they found. I bet there's hundreds of tons of fake gold out there.
Well, I mean, it's the old. I mean, they've been doing this since they had gold and silver as, especially silver, as the Roman is it the denarius was a silver coin,
Yeah.
and they're constantly taking them in and resmelting by mixing cheaper base metals into. So I mean, this has been done for so many years, for so long. I mean, the fact that they're still getting away with it is troubling. But ultimately, I said, someone made $1 billion transaction in Bitcoin on the blockchain, meaning they can send that anywhere in the world, $690 to move $1 billion. I said, when you can beat that, give me a holler, because you can't. I don't know. They frustrate me to no end. I don't want to talk to them. They can go fuck off. Like, that's literally it. Like, life is short. I don't have time to waste with people that aren't forward thinking. So, you know what I mean, dude? Like,
I hear you 100%, man.
So gold bugs and stuff. I do think we should. I'd like to get to the southeast because then we could pop into the Mises group and try to evangelize there. I do see positive things going on there.
I don't.
But it's been a slow. Yeah, I do. I do. I mean, you might not, but yeah.
Well,
I
I
know you
think
don't.
that there's a good body of content, but what I don't like is the current gatekeeping, and it is beyond me, and it should be beyond anybody. I think why they wouldn't have one person speaking on Bitcoin at their headline conference. It is so retarded to not have somebody speaking on Bitcoin that I believe it has to be malicious in that they're trying not to speak on Bitcoin.
I think it's a question of, are they? I mean, they're nonprofits, so they're, they need funding. I know that they promote a lot of gold stuff, so I'm wondering if their backers are, gold bugs, and the gold bugs are like, look, dude, if you need to get this funding stream, you need to kind of put the kibosh on Bitcoin talk. I don't know if that's an actual thing, but I wouldn't be surprised, because money talks, resources talk. But I have listened to Tom Wood's show, and I am glad he's doing something a little independent, and he has had Saifedean and Lop and others on there, and I'm glad he does. Those are popular episodes, and so I'm hoping that angle works. But what's the guy's name? Murphy?
The old guy?
No, he's kind of like
Bob Murphy. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Bob Murphy. There it is. He's got his own podcast too, but he does a lot of like anarcho-capitalist stuff.
he's
He's new. He talks about Bitcoin sometimes.
yeah, I've heard him talk about it. I think that he does a decent job. At least a couple years ago when I heard him talk about it. But I don't know. It's just, for example, if Bitcoin, which is a big, gigantic thing and growing, and there's lots of people, and it's reaching the young, and it's the next generation, right? And you want to learn about Bitcoin, you don't have to have an economist come and speak. You could have Lop, who's a computer scientist. You could have him come and speak about, hey, tell us about digital scarcity, because we don't fucking understand it. And it's very popular, and it's growing around the world, and all the young people are into it. Like, tell us, invite somebody. But the thing is,
Trace Mayer would do it for free.
Yeah, Trace Mayer could do it for free, or I mean, anybody would probably.
Saifedean would do it for. I wouldn't doubt if he'd be willing to go over there and do it for free. Like, they've been trying to make inroads. I don't know if Trace is as well connected, but I know Saifedean has really tried to bridge the gap significantly.
Yes,
I don't know why they haven't brought him over.
But just that statement is wrong. Like, trying to bridge the gap. You shouldn't have to try to bridge your gap. This should be natural. Fucking invite a Bitcoiner over. I don't. It doesn't. That statement, I agree with it. It means that there is an intelligentsia within the Austrian school that will not allow people to speak about Bitcoin, and that
there's a yeah. I mean, there's a stubbornness. I was talking to Mike. He posts sometimes Comerica99 on the
yeah. Oh, that's Mike the miner.
Yeah, Mike the miner. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah. So you've met him before, probably, right?
Yeah, I met him probably 10 times. Yeah.
He came to the meetups before he left. So I was talking to him on Sunday. And he's a Gen Xer, and I'm like, and a lot of the Mises guys are like, the youngest of them are Gen Xers to boomers. He said, you know what the problem with Gen Xers is, and why they don't? Because I'm like, what do people your age? He's like 10 years older than me. I'm like, what do people your age think about Bitcoin? He's like, it's so hard. If they can't touch it, they just don't believe it. He's like, it's a big problem with people, my age and obviously older, is it's not tangible, so they can't wrap their head around it. And so they kind of dig their heels in. And that, I think they were brought up in a certain environment, and it's just very hard for them to accept this digital money. It's funny, dude. The whole reason I even heard about Bitcoin was because of them and Zero Hedge. That's what just kills me about them. Dude, they were posting stuff like, I found those sites probably in 2000, into 2012, early 2013, and they were talking about Bitcoin, but they were talking about it in pretty positive terms at that point because of the the ability to take down the fiat system. And it's just funny, like, here we are, we've had all this development, and now you're you're kind of digging your heels in against it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me and my perception. So
Yeah, I can see all that. It's I just think if it's an academic thing and if you're truly academically curious about this, you wouldn't have to bridge any gap, and it would be just like natural. But I got so much pushback on one simple question. All I said was any Bitcoiners. I think that's saying something, and I don't want to be apologetic to these people. I mean, there are, and I'm going to get hyperbolic here for just 20 seconds, is there are people dying because of bankers and because of the elites and their dollar system. And if me asking some fucking Austrian economist that has some intelligentsia bridge that I have to gap, I need to tone it down. That's ridiculous. So I don't know. You can tell that I'm passionate about this, and I think what Stephen Livera did, I understand what he's doing. I don't agree with it, and I don't agree with Tom Woods, and I don't agree with all that other stuff.
My opinion, they weren't being malicious at all. I can definitely see their perspective. So, but I mean,
well, I'm going to keep poking them, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
I mean, you got to roll with your style. Like me, I would go a different route. But again, for all of us who actually want an anarcho-capitalist world, we're going to have to accept that different people are going to have a different way of going about things. You know what I mean? And so diplomacy, of utmost importance in a completely market-based economy, learning how to work with people. So I just kind of accept that people aren't going to always share my views.
You're more grown up than I am, because I'm like, fuck diplomacy. This is life and death. This is like, I don't know.
Well, you can make that comment maybe about this issue, but you haven't seen me fat shaming. So that's not even like anything involving aesthetics, dude. I just completely fucking or when I'm having trying to have a logical discussion and I'm just getting emotion puked. I just lose it. I get like flustered. So yeah, it's just everybody's got their hot button. Or if you're a social justice where everything's your hot button. So